Welcome everyone to Tuesday Night Mental Wellness. I am Sarah Hine, your host. I am here to really spread light and hope through our amazing brand, Amare Global, the first ever mental wellness company. I had the privilege of being there on day one and helping open the doors to this amazing mission. In the last 4 years, we're taking this mission around the country and now globally. So on this live event, we've got people from Canada to the East Coast, the West Coast, and many states in between. And we're really excited for all of you that will be watching this replay. Tonight's topic is a really big one because it really is validating on many levels. We have 3 amazing healthcare providers. They all happen to be 3 chiropractors and originally from the Midwest, but we have one that fled the Midwest. So we're going to start with Dr. Andrea Armstrong. Just wave, Andrea. She's now a transplant in South Carolina. She's a mom of 3. I've had the privilege of knowing her for many years. Both her and her husband, Brian, are just an amazing couple. And Andrea actually retired from her chiropractic career to do this full time. So she's got quite the story. And then we have Dr. Jody Sampson in the house, who we celebrate something pretty cool together. We both birthed children on the exact same day, same year. Never forget that. So we went through the whole empty nester thing together. And you have the twins and then a 3rd child. So she's mom of 3, amazing husband who's a pilot, just a lovely, lovely faith-based couple. And she lives in Minnesota. She's from Minnesota. And then we have the amazing Dr. Carrie Brazzale. Wave, Carrie. Carrie's also from the Midwest. She's from my home state, Wisconsin, and a beautiful mom of 4 incredible kids, just wonderful husband. And I've had the privilege of watching this woman's transformation into a powerhouse leader. It's really, really cool. So ladies, thank you for joining us tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. We're going to get into the nitty gritty. We've got a lot of questions for you 3. I've been taking a collection of questions. And so our goal tonight is to pick your brains as healthcare providers. And we're going to cover tonight why you chose with your professional backgrounds. And let's face it, chiropractors in the medical community are some of the most educated on nutrition because they're either self-educated, they've certified into nutritional certifications. They're just taught it more in their schooling versus traditional medicine. And so they're picky. They're very picky, and they have a knowledge base that a lot of the medical community just doesn't have because it's not integrated into their healthcare system, education programs. And so we want to know why you put your names behind Amare. We want to know how you got over the network marketing MLM phobia as a healthcare provider. We want to know how you're implementing this into your businesses and dealing with your patients. And we want to know what the results you're getting with your patients. All right. So this is the expectations. Let's get started. All right. So why did you choose Amare? So I'm going to pick on, I feel like I'm a game show host tonight. I'm going to pick on Dr. Jody Sampson first for this one. Dr. Jody, you're in the hot seat. So tell us a little bit about your love for science and why were you so attracted to Amare versus lots of brands you've been approached by?
Yes, that's so true. So the gut has its own nervous system, and that's called the enteric nervous system. And I've been working with that in my practice early 2000s. And the enteric nervous system, the nervous system in your gut, has all of these nerve cells, 50 to 100 million that are actually lining your gut, and that rivals what's in your spinal cord. So when the gut brain company approached me, I was intrigued because this is what I do in my practice, is really tailor to gut brain problems. So the fundamentals intrigued me because in the past, I would just kind of piecemeal things together. I would take different products from different companies. Like I would use L-glutamine from a company, marshmallow root extract, DGL, different things like probiotics, spore probiotics for the gut. I would also use different things for the immune system, astragalus root, colostrum, that kind of thing. But never did I use something that was coordinated like the fundamentals pack kind of gave me. It coordinated a system that I had never had access to. So really, really exciting for me to delve into that with my patients on a completely different level.
Ooh, I love it. I love it. All right. I'm going to pick on Andrea Armstrong, Dr. Andrea Armstrong. Tell us what attracted you from a science perspective to Amare.
So those of you who know my story, I'm not going to dive into it. We could be here all day just talking about that. But I actually looked into it as a customer at first, right? To use it for my family because my daughter was having some GI issues I couldn't get under control. I'm sure these amazing women can agree that when you are a practitioner and a mom, you kind of feel like I can figure this out, and I couldn't figure it out. And it was not sitting well with me. I was frustrated. I was feeling like a failure. So when I was told, kind of like Jody, this whole idea of, this system, right? And we're going to address every single part of it. We're not going to just deal with gut health like we had been doing. We're going to do a coordinated system. I actually was really grateful and got a phone call with Dr. Sean Talbot, which sealed the deal for me, right? 15 minutes and you're like, where do I sign up? And it just made so much sense, right? And so I think, so just a little sneak peek, like we got amazing results. Obviously, that's why I'm here, right? That we hadn't gotten in a really long time. And for me, then it was, well, how do I not share this with the people walking in my doors, right? And I think that is something that happens for a lot of people. They realize like, hey, this works. It's science backed. That's something I know all three of us are very passionate about, right? When you can get clinical studies and look into them and dive into them and see, how things are sourced and it's done the right way. And I'm super picky about what I put in my body and my kids' bodies. And when you kind of start checking all the boxes, right? You go, there's something here. And so it was kind of a, whole, rounded picture when it comes to that. But it was all of those pieces that went together and it was like, oh man, this is pretty cool.
Wow. So I'm hearing it was very personal for you as a healthcare provider, really looking for your own child with her own situations. And Dr. Jody, you were finding something that you just hadn't seen that was simplified for your patients, kind of in a one-stop shop type thing. Dr. Carey, what did you see in this?
For me, I think back to, I've been out of chiropractic school now for 15 years in practice. I have a small practice, but I think back to those college days where we were learning at that stage about the digestive system. And they were prepping us for what the nutritional world was going to be bringing, and that we were going to see that in our chiropractic future. At that time, I really didn't understand what it meant. And actually, Dr. Andrea had brought this product to me. And to be honest, I wanted nothing to do with it for about 7 months. And I was sitting at a continuing ed class at the time. And I thought, for whatever reason, at Divine Intervention, this concept of gut-brain access came to mind. And I remembered her reaching out to me. And so in that moment, I reached out to her and said, hey, send me that information. Yes, I should be learning this stuff in continuing ed here, but for whatever reason, I feel that I need to learn about the gut-brain access in this moment. I was blown away. I don't know if you remember this, Andrea, when I literally got up from that conference, walked out and called her and said, why did you not make me look at this sooner? It was such a comprehensive approach that I had never seen before. As Dr. Jody has alluded to, there's so many things on the market that are good products, but to have a comprehensive approach to being able to address the gut was like, one, this is simple. I'm all about simple. Like, why make things harder? Two, from a financial standpoint, this is going to ease up so many things for myself, because I was treating myself with supplementation, but also I knew for my patients. But three, the compliance. Like, product doesn't work if you don't take it, right? So you can have all the product in the world and you can say, this is going to change your life. But if you don't take it, it's not going to help you. And so that was what I was running into. And so from the science, seeing that in, a 3 products, we could have this comprehensive approach, simplistically taken one time of day, and it wasn't 30 different supplements 3 times a day. I was sold from that point on. And then I too had personal experience as well. But from the science end, I was just blown away at what Amare was accomplishing and stating in their science of what our product is able to do.
Wow. It's pretty cool to hear each of your stories, very similar, but also very different. And I think it shows the importance of being, each of us have to, as individuals, look for the different aspects. That's why I wanted all 3 of you on here. You all come from a different point of view. All right. So this is a network marketing company, also now an affiliate program company. And we're going to be real today. That's what we're all about. Oftentimes in the past, I've been with network marketing for almost 26 years. It'll be 26 years this next month. I'd like to say I don't look it, but yes, it's
you don't.
Let's just keep it real. But there is this MLM phobia, this network marketing phobia. Let's just call it what it is with healthcare professionals. How did you 3 overstep that? And we want your raw answers. So we're going to start with Dr. Andrea on this one. Andrea, and sorry for all the banging in the background. I live in construction continuously, so my apologies. Dr. Andrea, how did you overcome MLM phobia?
That's a really good question. And one that I think took a really long time. I actually just posted about it on my Facebook the other day that I saw myself as here for the products for a really long time, right? And then I saw the business side of it for what it truly was. But it's hard, right? I think as practitioners, and I think the other 2 can agree, when you're in chiropractic school, different companies come in and they talk to you about their products and they send, kind of like sales staff in, right, to educate you and let you know. And so that's what you're inundated with. And that's what you assume you should be using in your practice. And that's what, kind of is the okay thing to do, right? And network marketing, to me, before I really owned it and looked into it, always seemed like an inferior way of, going about this. The reality is network marketing companies put out some of the best products out there. They do. And quite honestly, what had to happen was I had to get over myself. Plain and simple. I had to get over myself and my ego and I have a doctorate, right? And look at what was going to help my patients. And it did not happen overnight. There are still days where I'll have a colleague come to me and be like, oh, but it's it's network marketing. And it's like, and yeah, right. And it's a phenomenal product, one of the best I've seen. And so I don't know if that answered your question. But I'm clearly passionate about it because it's something that I've been, working through lately, because it is, right. It is tough. But I think it's one of those things, again, when you see what it's doing for other people, when I see what it did for myself and my own family, you can't deny that. And it doesn't matter where it came from. How it's marketed does not matter, right? The product is the product. The science is there. The results are there. And that's all that should matter, whether you're a practitioner or, not. That's all that matters. In the sense of being a practitioner, quite honestly, I think it should matter even less, because you went in to do what you did, chose to do to help other people. And if that is going to be through a product of network marketing, so be it. It shouldn't matter, because you should just be worrying about helping the people that are in front of you.
Very interesting. I love it. I love it. Dr. Jody, what would you say to a healthcare professional, or just anybody? I mean, you don't have to be a healthcare professional to have MLM phobia. What would you say to them?
Well, and quite frankly, when I started thinking about doing this, I didn't like it. I have been approached dozens and dozens of times, really, by different various, MLMs in my practice and throughout my 20 years. And I've always drawn a hard no, not going to do it. And kind of a funny story, I love this Ganoderma mushroom coffee. It's a network marketing company, and I've been using the product over 7 years, but I refused to sign up. I always got it from a colleague because I refused to be part of an MLM. I was just like, no, I'm not going to do it. I was so anti-MLM. But then, you kind of check your pride at the door, and you recognize when people come in with mental health issues. And at that particular time I started, I just had a huge number of patients that were struggling with mental health. So, Amare being the mental health company and mental wellness, and needing help, I was just willing to check my pride at the door and try it. But I have to say, probably the best part that I have found that I really like about MLM is that it is fun. Like, hanging out with you ladies is fun. And being in a little chiropractic office, it's just me and my office gals. And, I don't have a collaboration, a team that I can, do what I do with Amare. And I just, a friend of mine, actually a best friend of mine from college, just signed up as a wellness partner. She actually introduced my husband and I, and she has a social work practice, and she and I are going to open a nonprofit for kids. And it's just so motivating to have this purpose that is beyond yourself, and to have Amare as a platform to be able to do that. I love it. It's fun. It's exciting. And I would have never, ever, thought about that when I was, saying no to all the MLMs. But honestly, God has a plan. So I think this was the MLM that I was supposed to, be with. So yeah, it's about purpose. It's about having that motivation that's beyond yourself, and having that team of people working with you ladies, being able to work with one of my best friends. It's fun, and I love it.
Love it, Jody. I love it, Dr. Jody. All right. So Dr. Carey, how about you? How did you come over MLM phobia?
I just had somebody actually give me a hard time today. And I knew this question was coming, right? And I feel that it was God preparing me to really experience what I felt, right? So let's take me back to when I first started with Amare. I didn't bring this into my practice. I actually only shared it with family and friends, and I was very secretive about it, quite honestly. There was the stigma, as Dr. Jody and Dr. Andrea already elaborated on, that I felt that same thing. It's a pride issue. I felt, I have this doctor status and I'm doing an MLM. Why I felt that, I don't know. And I'm sorry that I felt that way, quite honestly, because there's so many wonderful, intelligent individuals with kind hearts that if they didn't do what we do here through a network marketing company, lives would not be changed. And I was kind of brought to my knees when I was working with a coach and mentor of mine. And I was trying to get over this phobia, to be quite honest. And I was sitting at a conference where an individual was on stage and point blank bashed network marketing companies. And I took it personally, and I found myself getting really angry. And I thought, well, why am I getting angry about this? And so I stepped out and I talked with a coach and mentor of mine. And he goes, wait a minute, your supplementation company is a network marketing company? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, do you feel that I could benefit from what you have to offer? And I said, absolutely, hands down, yes. And I know what he was battling with. And he goes, so you're telling me that you would let a platform of how a product is marketed stand in the way of actually helping me or somebody else? And it was at that moment that I realized this is way bigger than who I am and the ego and the thoughts and the fear and the judgment that I have around more or less not fully understanding what network marketing is about. I wasn't educated enough to really make a true decision and fully understand what network marketing was. And so therefore I took the opinions of others and the judgments of others, and I placed that as my own. And I feel horrible about that. And if I could go back, several years now, I've been with Amare for almost 4 years. If I could go back to day one and feel as confident as I do now, I think of how many lives I could really have touched, and that I may have missed that opportunity to have that conversation because of my own pride and ego. And so I embrace it now. And today was the perfect, and I shared the conversation with Dr. Andrea because it was so freeing to feel that this individual, and I feel sad for her, she came at me and just said, I just don't do MLM products. And I was like, well, I could either ignore this comment and pretend it didn't happen, or I could actually address it. And so I took the higher road and I said, I completely understand when it comes to feelings around MLM. And I just want you to know, as a chiropractor, above all, I took an oath to help people. And so I don't care what platform this is on. If I know something that can benefit and add value to somebody's life, potentially change the dynamic of how they feel and how they act day in and day out, I am doing them a disservice. I am taking life away from them by not sharing that information. And so I shared that with her. And I said, in the future, if you see posts and things that I'm presenting and you have questions or I can be of service to you, please don't hesitate to reach out. And I know she read it because, thankfully with technology, we can kind of see if people read it, and what she does with it is fine. But I had to stand up for what we have here, because it really is our own judgment. And other people, it doesn't matter. So I'm over it. It's always a work in progress, but it's awesome to be on this side of it.
Wow. I'm sitting here reading the chat messages, and it's like blowing up because you three just nailed it. And here's what I'm going to add to it is network marketing has had this stigmatism around it of being fraudulent, and every industry has bad companies and really good companies. The thing that I always say to people, have you ever been to a good doctor? And people are like, yeah. Have you ever had a not so good doctor? And they're like, yeah. Have you ever had a great teacher for your child? Yeah. Have you ever had a teacher that just did not connect with your child? Yes. And yet for some reason, because some, network marketing companies aren't very good, they're just not. Okay. We're going to call a spade, but some are really, really good. And just because 1 or 2 or 5 or 10 didn't do it right doesn't mean that there are many others that did it right. And the truth is that some of the most amazing natural products in the world right now are from network marketing companies. And one of the things that Amare did so right, is that we understood that healthcare professionals, small business owners, influencers, so this isn't just for healthcare practitioners, this is for all of the above, because really a healthcare practitioner is running a business. You're running a business. You're all running businesses. So for anybody in that realm, we created a hybrid program. And if you don't want to build a team, you don't have to. You don't have to if you don't want to. But if you're going to, social retail is socially recommending something. And these three just shared in their own personal, authentic, and genuine ways. They were sharing something they believed in, that they knew could make an impact. They knew it was being done correctly. It was not being done fraudulently. It was ethically sourced, ethically made, ethically priced. It was authentic, and they could not share it. Now, could they get paid for it? Absolutely. They get paid on, adjusting people. They get paid on, massaging people. You get paid on, doctors get paid on people being sick coming to them. We all have to earn income. And so I think what you three are seeing is this shift in stinking thinking, that not having the tools to help people, not having them in your platform, people are going to go out there and buy whatever. They're going to go to Costco and CVS and all these places, and they don't know what the heck they're getting. We don't know where it's sourced from. And most of the time it's not sourced correctly, and therefore they're spending a lot of money and they're not getting results. And so would the three of you say you're seeing results in your patients? Okay, I'm seeing some head shaking. So let's talk about that. I want to know about some of these results. So let's start with Dr. Jody. Jody, can you just share like one or two results? I mean, I'm sure we could spend hours on results, but share what you're seeing.
One or two is really hard, Sarah.
I know.
Okay, so where my brain goes initially is what a most recent patient, actually. She is a 19-year-old, went to college for the first time this last fall. And before she left, she was having pretty severe gut pain and anxiety, lots of different reasons, right? And her mom came up to me about a month ago now, and she's like, Jody, I just wanted to let you know that what you did, let me back up. So when I first saw her, I was like, do I need to use Amare? Like, I'm going to try the other things that I've used in the past. I want to see if I can use, different probiotics. I want to just see if I need to use Amare. And so I tried different things. And finally in October, I'm like, all right, we're putting you on antibiotics. And so then her mom approached me about a month ago, and she's like, I just wanted you to know that after you did that, that's when she really did get better. And so it was confirmation for me just to be like, all right, I do need Amare in my practice. I really do. So that was fun. And then I think the other piece that I wanted, there's so many, Sarah. I have a 55-year-old male, type 2 diabetic. I've seen him for over 15 years, and we've done a lot of different things. But recently in the last year, actually 2 years ago, his blood sugar just kept eking up. And, his medical doctor wanted to put him on insulin and things like that. And so we introduced Amare, Fundamentals Pack, and Edge specifically, and the seed fiber. And his blood sugars are lower than they've ever been. And it's really fun just to see his motivation to exercise and just to do things that he didn't have the energy to do before. So that's two results. I can keep going, but let the other ladies talk. And if you want me to come back, I got more.
The testimonials are my favorite. I'm just saying, because these are lives and souls that we're really helping. So Dr. Andrea, share away.
So I haven't been in practice for a little while. So this is a hard one when it comes to patients, but I would love to circle back to the reason why I got introduced to this in the first place, because it was meant for my daughter. And I love working with kids. I had a very large pediatric practice when I was practicing, and I love working with kids because there is no placebo effect when you're working with kids, right? When you give them something, half the time they have no clue what they're taking it for, right? So when you start seeing changes, you're actually seeing changes. So for my own daughter, she was having some major digestive issues. And we started her on product. Again, she was 2.5. She had no clue what she was taking. We were opening it in, we didn't even have a kids line. So we were opening the adult stuff and putting it into yogurt. And within 1 week, her behavior changed that we didn't even realize was a problem before, right? So many things you pass off as, oh, they're 2.5. Oh, their communication, they're frustrated because they can't communicate like they'd like to, right? But it wasn't. She was in pain, right? She was dealing with something that she couldn't figure out. And the way she dealt with it was by screaming, like this high-pitched scream. And that changed dramatically in a week. And then we saw skin changes, right? We saw a rash on her face that had been there forever. And you guys, we were doing all the things. We pulled dairy, we pulled gluten, we pulled artificial, we eat organic. We were doing probiotics, we were doing gut healing stuff. Nothing was touching it. That was the moment that I knew, oh my gosh, this is different. And this is something I can't keep to myself. So that for me, sticks out. And I get a lot of, parents coming to me with their kids still, right? I'm not in practice, but they still come to me for that. And, I can think of another kiddo, and I think our mental health system is so broken right now. We're stressed, right? Like we're full to the max. And this mom came to me, I was actually still in practice. And she shared with me that her daughter's friend had called her and said, I don't know if I should be calling you, but your daughter your daughter made some comment in passing that she didn't want to live anymore. And she said, Andrea, I called a mental health facility and I can't get her in for 6 weeks. That is not okay, right? I knew what I know now. And I said to her, why don't we just try product in the meantime? I don't know what else to tell you. She called me in tears a week and a half later saying, she's not only okay, she's amazing. And she's downstairs in the kitchen playing cards with us that she hasn't done for a year and a half. I forgot about that. I'm so glad you asked this question, Sarah. There is nothing better. There's nothing better than that, right? And I think that is where, from a healthcare perspective right now, a mental health platform and a mental health option for our patients is so necessary because our system is overwhelmed. I hear that all the time, trying to get my child into this and that, and it's 6 weeks, 2 months, 3 months. That's not okay. We need something else to help, at least in the interim, until something else can be done.
You're making me emotional because I just had a woman who she works for me, but honestly, I work for her. She's an amazing, amazing individual, and she can't come to work tomorrow because she's going to her nephew's funeral who committed suicide. And I'm listening to you, Andrea, and it's just making it really real. Like what we have here matters, and we need to get out of our own way. So thank you for sharing that. Dr. Carey, you're on the hot seat. Testimonials.
Oh, so many great ones. So I was picking my brain here as I'm listening to all these great ones that have already been shared. I think of an individual, early 50s. She is a high performer from a standpoint of work, mortgage broker. Is always having to be on. When I met her, she was like this, like she just couldn't even stand still because I'm like, what are you on? She's like, you don't even want to know, but it's all chemicals and stimulants and all these things. And I can't do this anymore. I have history of heart disease in my family, and I know this is bad for me. She was trying to revamp her life. She was doing 75 hard. She was doing a lot of all the right things. And she still felt like crap, and she didn't have the motivation. She didn't have the energy. She lacked focus and clarity. She had tons of brain fog. And so I said to her, I was like, I think I can help you. And she's like, well, I mean, if it's not, prescription drugs, I don't know if you can help me. And I was like, no, I think I can help you. And so I started her on the whole a protocol with, I apologize, my children are saying goodnight to me real quick. 1 second. I love you guys.
Good night.
Okay, good night. Thank you. Sorry. Well, it's when you're doing things at home. So I started her with our fundamentals pack, and she started to instantly notice change. And but she was also on mood, and she had said, I still am needing something for focus. Like I feel like I have to turn towards some prescription medication that I really don't want to be on. And I said, you know what, let's start you on this kid's mood. And I want you to start on it. I want you to take it when you feel like you want to take your meds and just see what happens. It was crazy. Within 2 weeks, she was actually off of her prescription meds. It's been 7 weeks that she's no longer on this prescription medication to deal with attention and focus. And she has energy for days, and that has changed her life. She literally said to me, "You offered me the ability to have my life back." And how do you take a comment like that? I'm like, I just offered you stuff that I thought maybe could be of help to you. And I'm so grateful that you were willing to try it. But she now is one of my biggest promoters for what we do here at Amare. And she works with many individuals that are harming their body and using stimulants and chemicals because that's the only known thing that's out there for people, right? Like, that is what our population knows. Anything, you look at these monster drinks and, caffeine and Starbucks and all of these in the moment feel good things that are just harming our bodies. And what we can do here to offer them something natural just is amazing. So that is one individual that I just love her story. Another, I think of a child, I believe he is 8 years old. And his mom had reached out to me, and he had been on several different medications trying to manage ADD, ADHD, and it was paralyzing him. And she's like, I don't know my kid when he's on these meds, but not only that, his stomach hurts so bad and he cannot take the medication any longer. And so we tried him on our kids line, and I really didn't have contact with her until I saw a post that she had posted that had a picture of him not having some of the anxiousness and like the anxiousness to go to school. She had just posted, she's like, so grateful for Amare. And I reached out to her and I was like, you hashtagged so grateful for Amare. What's the story here? And she's like, I am just blown away. My kid is a completely different kid. His teachers say that he loves school. He's able to participate. Now he concentrates. He comes home, he gets his homework done. His stomach doesn't hurt any longer. We don't deal with a lot of the things that he was saying. Like, his whole life is different. I'm so grateful for you. You gave me my child back. And again, it's one of those things that I go, this is way bigger than me. I'm so grateful that you reached out and that I could offer you a solution that's natural, holistic, with no negative side effects that changes the trajectory of where your life is headed. Just awesome. So those are two individuals that stand out in my head.
We could seriously do hours. I know we could. And trust me, this is like my absolute favorite part. But I think that everyone gets the gist that this brand is really changing lives. It's not going to cure everything, but as my husband, who has suffered a rare disease and been through almost 10 years of a lot of suffering, when he first heard about Amare, before the doors were even open, he said, if you could help people improve the quality of their life by 20%, you could end a lot of people, you could stop a lot of people and prevent them from ending their life. Think about that. So that's what fueled me to come here. So here's what I want to transition our last question to is, here's the reality. These products can't do two things. They can't walk and they can't talk. They need us to share them. And so as business owners, healthcare professionals, and you're all influencers in your own realm, and everyone listening, all of you listening, even those of you listening to this recording, you're all an influencer. You all have influence in other people's lives. What I want to ask you next is how you are sharing this in your practice. Are you carrying inventory? Are you enrolling people and getting them to place orders immediately? We would love to hear how you're implementing this into your practice. Now, I'm going to start with Dr. Andrea. You are very unique because you're a chiropractor. And then this took off and it allowed you the extra stream of revenue that came in. It allowed you to change the direction of your life, and you no longer are actively practicing, which is amazing. It's absolutely amazing. But when you were in practice, and even now as a former chiropractor, what did you find was the best way for you? Because there's multiple ways you can do this. What did you find was the best way for you to share this with people in your practice?
Sure. So honestly, for the first bit of it, I was kind of like Dr. Carey, right? I was not really shouting it from the rooftops because I was a little not sure if that's what I wanted to be associated with. So I simply put the empty boxes on my front desk and allowed people to ask me, what is this? And it was actually, I mean, the packaging is beautiful, so people would see it and ask me questions on it. But I also had a very unique practice in the fact that, and it's funny, all three of us practiced very, very much similar, right? We're small practices, didn't have, we weren't high volume where we were seeing 200 patients a day. And so that's how I wanted it. I wanted to have an intimate practice and a relationship with my patients that they trusted me, because I feel like they're not getting that in a lot of other facets of healthcare. So I was very bound and determined to be that person for them. And so conversations just happen when you ask questions. And, when somebody sits down and you're like, all right, how you doing? They're like, okay. And you ask like, well, what does okay mean? Right? So because of the relationship I had with my patients, that's how it went. I knew them, I knew their families, I knew what was going on. I could read them when they walked in the door because of the relationship I had with them. And so oftentimes that is what happened. That conversation would come up and that's how I did it. I did have, some staples on my shelf, but I never had very much inventory of anything because it's just honestly one more thing for a small practice to deal with, right? Inventory, and then it would expire and I'd have to throw it away and all that stuff. So I would keep a couple things. But the ease of allowing patients to sign up by themselves and get it delivered to their door and me not to have to be open in order for them to receive their products made the whole them going and, signing up and doing all of that a no-brainer. So that for me made the most sense, aside from, like I said, the couple times where I'm like, you need to go home with this today, right? But other than that, it's, the system is so simple to sign people up and have them choose what they want and, give them options and all of that, that it was kind of an easy, way for me to implement it.
Love it. Dr. Jody, how do you implement this in your practice?
Like Andrea said, we do have similar, smaller practices. My patients come in and there is absolutely an element of trust for sure, and just having conversations. A technique I do use in my practice is called applied kinesiology. And so using a lot of nutrition in my practice for a really long time, that also I had a lot of inventory. So applied kinesiology, I will do labs with people as well to ascertain kind of where we need to go. If we want to start with fiber, for example, or maybe the heart product. But mostly just having conversations with people using applied kinesiology. I will send them typically an enrollment cart after I see them. Rarely do I have them sign up at my office. I do carry a fair amount of product at my office. Once you are going up in rank a little bit, you are afforded, free product. And so I do take advantage of that. And I keep a lot of fiber, honestly, on my shelf, along with fundamentals and edge, but fiber is my favorite. And so I do, send people out the door with things, but most often I do use the enrollment cart, and they like to sign up online. For the most part, most people really like to, sign up online. They can order when they want, like Andrea alluded to. I don't have to be open for them to order when they need things. So I love that aspect.
Love it. Love it. Dr. Carey, how about you?
I also am a small practice, follow the theme here. And I specialize in pediatrics, but I'm a family practice. And so I have empty bottles of Amare all over my office, and the children love to play with them. So they're clapping around bottles. It's great marketing, right? Like that wasn't really my purpose. I was like, well, this is decoration, whatever. But it has become a theme, and all the kids, when they come in, that's what they go for, which is amazing. And it starts conversation. I do not carry inventory. I don't need to. And here's the other benefit to why I don't have to carry an inventory. With allowing patients I'll send them a cart. We'll have a conversation around what product I feel would be best for them. I'll send them a cart at their convenience, then they will fill out the information, and it'll be sent right to their home, which is perfect for me, as the others have alluded to. Then I don't need to be open. I'm part-time the way it is. So what I love about having that option is, in previous times, I'd have to have either hang their product outside my door or whatever. And it's just, I don't have to deal with that hassle. But it also allows patients to have that 100% money back guarantee. And I love that. I love that that's an option that we offer at Amare, because it's one of those things that's, for whatever reason, people find comfort and value in that, because it's really shows a lot about what our product stands for, and that we're allowing, most people, it's 30-day or none. People aren't expecting their money back, but when they hear that and can receive that, if that so be the case, it's just that added little bow on top of the box that we get to hand them. But it also then just allows me not to have inventory, right? So I have no problem sharing this in my office in that way. Most people tend to ask me, like I said, the kids that come to the office are always throwing a bottle of Mood around or something, because I just love Mood, and I feel that everybody should have Mood. But especially the moms that frantically come in carrying, 4 or 5 children, and you're like, how's your day going? And they're like, great. And I was like, it's really not that great, is it? And I was like, do you need one of these? But it's just, it's great marketing. And I love the flexibility that having that cart and being able to have people do it on their own time. It takes that time element off of my schedule in office, right? That I don't have to get backed up trying to work with people and manage their nutritional recommendations. I can do that on my time and then send it their way.
I love it. I'm hearing a lot of flexibility, and that's what brought me here to Amare. Whether my husband, through his illness, so I'm on more of the patient side and the advocate side. We've been to a lot of doctors around the country, and we've been to functional, natural, Eastern, Western, all of it. And what I loved about Amare is that some small businesses, some practitioners, some influencers want to have some inventory, and that's okay. You can. Some want none, and that's okay. You can. I mean, you do you, and this is attached to you in the way that best fits you and best fits, most importantly, your patient. What I also love is that this company and this brand was very innovative. And these shopping cart links that I'm hearing from all of you are digital, they're technology, they're 24/7, whether you're open or not, and can be sent to your patients. My husband's own medical physician, she's an MD, was the first doctor to join Amare, Dr. Michelle Massa, and her husband was her office manager, and they had a large practice, large clinic, and they had people that literally signed up and enrolled right there with the shopping carts with the things that she recommended. So it's very flexible. For those of you that are listening, you have options. You can choose and mold this, what best fits your practice, your business, your life, and the lives that you're reaching. And would the three of you agree to that? Would you agree that this flexibility is really beautiful? Like it's not like a one size shoe fits all, because there is no one size shoe that fits all. Would you guys agree? You're with me on that? So for those of you listening, definitely talk to the person that brought you here, or that you're listening to, because if you have a small business, if you're a gym owner, if you are a healthcare practitioner, an influencer, you have that flexibility that you can mold around you. And the very last thing as we end tonight's amazing call is just, something that we do need to address is the extra stream of income that comes in. And one of the things that is also beautiful, I mean, so many healthcare providers and small business owners, people assume that they're just raking in the dough, and they don't realize, they have overhead. They have a lot of money going out the door. And that extra stream of income, when it starts to come in, nobody's complaining about it. It's welcomed. It's very welcomed. Would you all just in just a few short words say, what has the extra stream of income be able to allow you to do? Dr. Andrea, what has this extra stream of income allowed you to do? Sorry about my dog. Sorry.
Yeah, you're good. I don't even know if I can like put it into words. It allowed me to move my family across the country. It's a dream we always wanted. I was able to be part of my kids' lives at a level that I always dreamed of, and still provide for my family and be part of that income. And gosh, Sarah, I mean, it's been beyond my wildest dreams. I'm not going to say I'm never going to go back to practicing, but it's pretty amazing to make, the income I'm making from my phone, from my house. And it's going to be pretty hard to say, go into work again every day. But the reason why, and I know we said a couple of words, I'm sorry. But the reason why it's okay for me is because I'm still helping people. I didn't leave my chiropractic practice that I got into to help people. And now I'm sitting here going like, well, that was like my mission in life, and I can't help people now. I can help more people now than I ever could doing that. I can help people that aren't even walking in my doors, right? My reach has been extended so much, and I'm so grateful. I will stop there, but
I love it. I love
pretty
it. Dr.
amazing.
Carey, Dr. Carey, how about you?
So when I went into chiropractic, I was very much success and work driven. Like it was before I had kids. And then I realized I was in love and I wanted to have this family, and I had my family. And so chiropractic is a hobby for me. However, it costed a lot of money. I still have student, loan and debt. And what Amare has allowed me to do is to still be a mom and make more money with having my office hours less. I'm more present with my family, creating, and I wanted to raise my children. And I'm able to do that and not have to be out of the house. And not that this doesn't take work, because it most definitely does. And any time that you're serving people, it takes work, but I love it. And the kickback that I get is way more than financial. There's so much more that comes with what we do here at Amare. And the financial piece just allows me to provide for my family in a way that I would have to work multiple hours to be able to make that income. So it's just a beautiful gift that I didn't want to have to put in that time to be able to do from a chiropractic or in practice position. So I'm so grateful for what Amare is offering me.
Wow. Love it. Love it. Love it. Dr. Jody, how about you?
Well, I'm the oldest of the bunch here, and I'm not getting any younger. And so it's so nice to be able to do Amare virtually, from our phone, from our computer. Last week, I actually was with a wellness partner in Florida, and we did Amare. We did the business of Amare from Florida. And so I just appreciate being able to help people on such a broader reach, right? It's not just in this office that I get to help people, but it's so, I don't know, it's amazing to be able to physically work less and still earn more and help people.
That's well said, Dr. Jody. And listen, I want to make sure we answer some questions that are in the chat box, because I'm seeing a common theme. And this one I think I'm actually going to address is people are wondering, how do we approach healthcare professionals? And listen, I would like to address this because I'm the one that does that. And the first thing is it's about building relationships. When you go cold into a chiropractic office or a medical office or any healthcare practitioner office, and you do not know the person and you're just cold, you're just another body coming in and trying to get them. You're trying to sell something to get them to do something. And usually they just like, oh, thanks. They take the samples you give or whatever the spiel you're giving, and then they don't give you life. Ladies, would you agree? Yes or no? Shake your heads. Okay. Don't do that. Do you see that doesn't work? Don't do that. It's about a relationship. It's about a relationship. And so what's really important is to build a relationship. If you know somebody, if you're a friend with somebody, if it's your doctor, I went to my husband's doctor. I had a great relationship with her. And what I would recommend is say, hey, I would love for you to look at this. This is legit. This is real. Now you can say this. I couldn't say this when I helped open up this company, but now you can say this. There are other healthcare professionals looking at this. And not only looking at this, they have this in their practice and they're getting phenomenal results. Okay. They're getting phenomenal results. Would you be open? So I'm speaking slowly so you can write this down. Would you be open to taking a look at a more natural approach for your patients to restore the gut-brain health and tie it into whatever their practice is, if they're a massage therapist, if they're a chiropractor, if they're an MD doctor. We have pediatricians that use this. I mean, all across the board. If you want a more natural approach for your kids, for your adults, for whatever their clientele is. And now this and is also just as important, you guys, because of what these three ladies just said. And it could bring you an extra stream of income. Do not shy away from that. Do not shy away from that. Most doctors, 99.9, are not nonprofits. They have to get paid and pay their bills, just like you have to pay your bills. They need some income coming in. They have student loans. They have overhead. They have a lot of bills. Okay. And all three of these ladies, would you agree? You're not sitting high on the hog. Like the extra stream of income is welcomed. And so you have to speak that. So when you're approaching a healthcare professional, you're looking for two things. Are they looking for a more natural approach to help their clientele, their patient clientele with XYZ, and possibly an amazing extra stream of income? I know doctors who this is working very well for. Would you be open? And then you want to connect them. You want to connect them to who you're working with, and to help answer all their questions on science, to answer their questions on the products, to see the results that patients are getting and the clinical studies. And we have all the resources in places for you. Okay. So that would be my recommendation for that question. Listen, we went a little over tonight, but this was so amazing with you three. I allowed it. God bless you all. I know that there could be so many more questions we have, but I want to be mindful and respectful for your time. God bless you all for your time, your talent, your enthusiasm, and honestly, most importantly, for the people you serve. You are truly saving lives, transforming lives, and giving people hope, something in today's world that people need desperately. So thank you. Big heart from Sarah Hine to all of you. I will have you back on. Thank you for all of our listeners tonight and everyone listening to the replay. God bless you all. Thanks, guys. Have a great night. Bye, everyone.